happening. It's all good. We're going to have a great time.
Honestly, truly grounding. Just lay down in the back, like in the shop with the smells. We've got the pine going and all the wood and the sawdust and everything. When you're sitting there going through the 1,000 thoughts in your head, just sit in the back, like in the shop, take it, like this is the dream. This is I'm doing what I want to do. And I find that very therapeutic in some ways. I also love yoga. So yoga is also, it's an important part of the practice to keep me sane.
I love it. Sawdust and yoga. This is where creativity gets lit. I'm talking bold pivots, design funks, and those tiny rituals that keep us grounded. I'm interior designer and creative director Ali Velji, and on AVD Inspire, I sit down with artists, makers, and icons for the real conversations behind the work. Can we talk about career plot twists for a second? Think about this. You're crushing it as a management consulting executive, living that airport lounge life. Then one day you wake up and think, actually, I want chisels and sawdust instead. That's exactly what today's guest, TJ Edmondson, did when he bought Windsor Workshop, one of North America's most legendary furniture makers. We met at IDS during my Silva collection launch, and honestly, there was an instant connection. What was supposed to be a quick Toronto lunch moment months later turned into an epic afternoon of pizza and Negronis and real talk that made me feel like we were meant to cross paths. TJ's work has been featured in Country Living, House and Home, The Globe and Mail, even Parks Canada is obsessed. But beyond the press, his commitment to authentic craftsmanship and caring about our planet, that's what makes Windsor Workshop and our guest TJ iconic. So I'm so happy to welcome TJ Edmondson to AVD Inspire. Welcome, friend.
Thank you kindly. What a speech.
Well, listen, I am ready to uplift you and get ready to get inspired. And like that conversation that you and I had at that lunch literally was it was groundbreaking for me. When you told me your story, I was like, and this is even before I had this sort of podcast moment even in my mind. And as soon as I was talking to Cheryl and I was like, okay, we need to do this podcast. I was like, okay, TJ has to be on the list because I just really loved our conversation and loved that you were so open and truthful. When we're talking about your trajectory and you being in this sort of corporate world and what you're doing now, I mean, looking behind you in the video, you have all of those gorgeous Windsor chairs. They're so stunning. So tell me about that moment. How did that all come about?
Growing up, I was always passionate about woodworking. My grandpa was a Finnish carpenter in the trades, grew up on a farm. That's where my dad grew up. So we kind of passed that down to us. Just always having projects on the go, building family homes. It was just always part of something we always did. But then when it came to real life, it was like, go to business school, do the business thing, follow the right track. So I did. And, while doing that, I always did little projects off to the side and I really enjoyed it. But then that led into this management consulting career and, got in and did well in it and had a lot of fun. And at the beginning, it was a lot of fun. It's like the sexy allure of traveling to different cities, moving into this city for 6 to 12 months, flying all around, getting all the points. Like the allure was there, but just not a sustainable lifestyle for me. I just couldn't handle it. And there was always those things, I'll do this for 2 years. And that was always those things you talk about with you're sitting there with your buddies, like, I'm going to do this. I want to go do this dream. And then you never do. And then as 2 years comes up, turns into 4, turns into 6. I'm like, oh my goodness, what the heck happened here? So it really just got to the point where, the company was growing. I had moved up, became a partner, and lockdown happened. And when that happened, we were on-site implementation based. So we were there working with the clients. And then when all of these things happened, it was like, they're trying to figure out how to bring in their own employees, let alone these outside consultants coming into the game. So when that happened, we changed our business model and I started working remote during that period. And while I was doing that, I had way more free time because I wasn't living in a hotel out in, Lethbridge, Alberta.
Wow.
So I started building a tiny house. And I lived in the tiny house for a year up between Owen Sound and Wyerton, and it was incredible. I had so much fun doing it. It was amazing. And then my first project back was down in Virginia, and it was still during the border closures, so I couldn't come home, and I had to stay down there during that period. Just like, oh, this is
For sure.
insane. Like, but the straw that broke the camel's back is what happened there. So then I was talking with my dad just about, you know what, I think I'm ready for a transition. Like, I still enjoy parts of this, but I need something more. And we just started looking around, and honestly, we found the shop, Windsor Workshop, on
Oh my
what's on
God.
the website, bizbuysell.com.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, hey, this looks incredible. So I messaged the broker, and we set up a meeting here at the shop with Matt, the previous owner, and we just clicked right away. Like, we had so much fun. We stayed for a couple hours, got to see all the stuff in the showroom, went around, met the guys in the back, and it kind of just snowballed from there, coming in every other week, kind of keeping the conversation going. Meanwhile, with my dad and I
Is
doing
this
the gut
okay?
check,
Is this good?
is this the right thing? Yeah. And it was just one of those weird things where, you know, this is a major life transition, but going through it, I never had that moment I thought I would have, like, okay, hold your breath, jump in. It just kind of felt natural in the way that all happened. And, you know, there wasn't that like holy moment of
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
oh
No,
my God,
and
goodness.
exactly. And I think too, it's like when you sort of realize your trajectory in terms of, okay, sort of the pandemic happened and you had a lot more time to sort of think about where you were at in your life and where you wanted to go. And I think there's a lot of people that felt that, you know, because we did have all of this time. And for me, the pandemic was great because I actually got some downtime.
Right.
I had this moment where I was just like, okay, I could breathe. I didn't have meetings to go to. I wasn't rushing around traveling. I wasn't doing any of that. So it actually made me sort of reflect a little bit.
100%. It was just one of those things where I'm a young single guy with no dependents or no real world responsibilities. So if there's ever a time to take that risk, it's now.
Windows are the key to the soul of any home. They help frame how we view the world and let in all of that natural light. That's why I'm obsessed with Lux Windows. This family-owned Canadian company always puts relationships and quality first. They've been perfecting their craft for over 56 years, and honestly, working with a company that values connection over transactions hits differently. So make sure you check out luxwindows.com for more information.
I've always had this thing of, I want to be the 80-year-old grandpa sitting on my rocking chair, telling my grandkids these stories of the life I lived.
Right.
I felt like I lived out that chapter in the consulting world. Like, there's only so much of that before it just gets repetitive. It's what I dreamed about. Like, oh, maybe one day I'll do this for, you know, a career and then move in and get a wood shop. Like, what the heck? If I take the risk, I can fall. And you know what? If it doesn't go well, then that's fine. I'm still in a spot where I can reset and go back to things. So it's, you know, truly living out the dream that I've had for all these years.
And that's the other thing that I really sort of noticed, your passion about what you're doing. I mean, you took over somebody else's business. So you really had to have that moment where you're like, yes, I believe in what this person was doing at Windsor Workshop and I want to continue that legacy. And I think that's so incredible. You're still making those chairs the way that they've been made for so long, which I think has a moment. But you and I have this sort of situation where we, spoiler alert, maybe have something coming up where we're sort of taking these incredible ways of making something and transforming them into something maybe a little bit more modern, a little bit more now. I think that your business acumen is also there because from your corporate world, right?
Yes,
so I
totally.
think you're bringing so much to the table.
For sure. And that was the big thing with Matt, the previous owner, was finding the right person to take over, because he had it posted for a while and he's had meetings before that just didn't go anywhere. But this was their third child. It was a husband and wife team that started this. They took the leap from their careers before and then went all in on creating the business what it is now. So for him, it was really continuing on that legacy. And for me, you know, that was a big part of it. It's not, you know, I could start off in my garage and start doing these things and continuing on, but he had laid such a great framework out with great people. Like, the employees all stayed on and they're incredible teachers. Matt himself is an unbelievable teacher. So I spent the first year basically training how to make the Windsor chair all by hand, the traditional way, which is how
Wow.
we make it.
Yes.
So yeah, it was really just all the stars kind of aligned in that, where Matt and I got along great. His two daughters are in the trades and they're still involved with Windsor. So we do a lot of collaboration work, which is incredible. He still pops in when he's here once a week just to check in.
I know that you said that fear of jumping in wasn't necessarily there, but I'm sure there was something that sort of you're like, oh, okay, I
Oh,
guess
for
I'm
sure.
doing
Yeah.
this. Was it sort of like leaving the security of having a really good job that you've been at for so long? Or was it sort of taking on someone else's legacy?
Well, it was a bit of both. Like, it was the pressure of maintaining this thing and growing it and reviving and bringing it back to where it
Mm-hmm.
was and bringing it
Mm-hmm.
further. But then the other part was you're leaving a spot where the consulting firm we're doing well, where you got a stable paycheck coming in. And now this is all on me. And before I had
Mm-hmm.
partners where if I needed some time or just didn't feel like it, I know they had my back and would carry it on. Whereas now it's, okay, this is just me. That part, and I guess as I went into, I guess, worked my way into this world with Matt, and Matt was
Mm-hmm.
here training me on the shop side for the first 6 months, and then helped me transition on the business side. And then as those training wheels started to come off, I'm like, oh, wait, like I actually have to make these calls now. This is something else. And then that's been the other nice transition with the new business, Local Made Market, and partnering with Mark and Tara.
Okay.
Is having those people to lean on. They come from different
Mm-hmm.
worlds. One's a designer.
Mm-hmm.
Mark was in contract furniture. Throughout this whole thing, I've always had Matt, and Matt has been a great sounding board for whether it's design, pricing, materials. You know, he's my go-to guy, which has been incredible.
Mm-hmm.
You're sitting there and you've marketing, website, looks, new designs. You know, there's a lot sitting there on just you. And I could
Yeah.
sit there for hours and overanalyze days and overanalyze this is the right
Mm-hmm.
thing. So with Mark and Tara, with Local Made Market, with Matt, my parents, my sister, our clients, our friends, like you,
Mm-hmm.
and we're sitting there having these conversations, that natural spitballing that happens
Yeah,
is
absolutely.
incredible.
Yes. Yes. And I think too, you said it right there. And this is again a thread with a lot of people that we've sort of talked about, is having a community around you that is going to uplift and support and encourage, you know?
Our main business, which is our standard products, are Windsor chairs, stools, benches,
Mm-hmm.
and tables. But then the other half is custom furniture. There's a lot of guys out here that do, guys and girls that do custom furniture. But the
Mm-hmm.
nice part is with the ones that have been established long enough is that, you know, there's enough sand in the sandbox for all of us to play. So I
Correct.
know if I have a question on a finish or how they did this, I can call, you know, Northern Joinery or Pompous Fox and talk to these guys and they'll give me an answer. It's not like, you know, I want you to fail because I need to win, especially in this market.
Mm-hmm.
You know, handcrafted furniture, building it with the joinery and things we do is a
Mm-hmm.
dying breed. And that's what Matt was
Yes.
really looking for in the transition, was somebody who's going to keep that and not just turn this into a big shop with a bunch of machines slapping fast furniture
Absolutely.
together.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
finding that community and the maker side, the designers and the clients that we've had, that Matt had these relationships for 35, 40
Mm-hmm.
years, some of them,
Mm-hmm.
it's been amazing, helping me through that
I,
transition, bearing with me, but then also,
yeah.
you know,
And what a beautiful partnership, and what a beautiful way of the universe just connecting you to him, because he was obviously probably looking for somebody that was a little younger that could
yeah.
take
Mhm.
this business onto the next level and elevate it, but still keep that sort of historic quality of his pieces and how he's making them, keeping the craft of fine woodworking and manufacturing alive in Canada. And that is what you're doing, I think,
Yeah.
is so amazing, because as a designer, I know that we have obviously access to all of these different websites and shops that are just making things that are crap, but
Right.
also
Yeah.
you're getting the look for less, right? So
Mhm.
what you're doing in Canada is getting that woodworking and manufacturing and that craft, and you're keeping it so alive, which I think is so important.
And as things transition, like obviously there is a place for this fast furniture side. My
Mhm.
friends in their 30s are not going to be buying a $1,000 dining chair or, $6,000 table. But there is that market that does appreciate those things. And even some people in those lower markets still want to buy something once and have it forever. Like we have, like there's a lifetime warranty in all of our chairs for a reason. We build it the same way they've been built 300 years ago. Keeping those practices intact and knowing if you come to the shop, you'll see the faces that made your pieces. And when they come in to be refinished in 10, 15 years, it'll be the same faces here, and it's going to be the same story and the same people. So as we adapt to manufacturing in Canada is not easy, and it is not, costs are high, which I can appreciate. So there's always this fine line of manufacturing a craft. I'm using an angle grinder now to grind out the seats by hand rather than using a trebuchet, which would take hours versus 40 minutes. So, it's still that hand sculpted piece, but we're adapting to that way. It's always towing that fine line of we need to honor the craftspeople that came before us, the joinery, the techniques, but make 100%. Them in a way that we can reach broader audiences and grow the business, but also share the passion that we have for what we do.
As a designer, for me, I want to have these beautiful heirloom quality pieces in my clients' homes because I want those pieces to last. I mean, for me, it's like even doing the Modern Heritage Collection was the same thing. Working with Silva was because they manufacture everything in Canada. Each piece is touched by like 20 people, from seamstresses to wood makers or whatever it is, the stuffing, all of that. But it's like having a piece for a really long time that you can sort of hand down to your grandkids or something like that, because you don't see that anymore.
100%. And that totally disappears. And then that's where the local made market brand, because the whole idea on that was Mark had a shop up the street. He took one of my chairs home and to show his neighbor, who's a designer, who's Tara. She loved it. They came in and we started talking about, what can we do with this? And then through that, the brand came out. And local made market, the idea behind that was to find similar places and shops like Windsor Workshop to sell under this collective brand and this tailored collection. So the collaboration with Silva that we're doing, we have makers in Quebec doing some of our dining chairs and seagrass and babiche hand woven seats.
So good.
Sheepskins from Alberta. Bring those all in to celebrate it and to get more reach for these things. I've never been one to like really lean on like a political view or have like a hard stance on generic things. But as I've gone further into this and understood the inside of small businesses in Canada, the US, manufacturing, it is bloody difficult to do that. So to celebrate that and to appreciate when you find another person who's either in our world or owning another business here, it's incredible. You have that immediate like click. We spent a lot of time talking on that when we met, just because when you mix vocation and passion, it is such like a interesting concoction, because the lows are Chicken Little, the sky is falling. The highs, the little highs are like euphoric. They're such big wins. So what I was doing before, I'd get a win and it'd be like, okay, great, on to the next thing. And you kind of lose that emotion behind it. Whereas here, every win, it's, the air fist pump. I'm walking around with my chest a little pumped up. Like, this is incredible.
And you should be celebrating those wins, no matter how big or small they are, because it's a win nonetheless, right? And it's like, that's very important to sort of have those moments where you feel good, because like, it's like, I did this.
We do it. Yeah, exactly. We did this.
Ah, that's amazing. TJ just shared some wisdom about choosing passion over security. And honestly, that entrepreneurial spirit reminds me of why I respect Lux Windows so much. They're Alberta made with old world techniques, and they really understand that your space needs windows built to last. When a company genuinely lives for exceptional craftsmanship, you see it in every detail. Visit luxwindows.com to find out more. Okay, so before we go, 2 questions. One of them is, what is next for you?
The real goal for me buying Windsor was really to bring it back to what it was. Windsor Workshop in the 90s, 2000s, 2010s was a large facility with 30 people in the back pumping chairs out all over North America. And it was the husband and wife tag team. And Aver was, the wife was more on the business side. Matt was the craftsman side, and she she passed away. And when that happened,
I'm sorry.
Scaled down the business so it could still be manageable. So he could still be on the tools. But the whole goal was to bring it back to that point. So, finding new designers, new stores, Canada, US, to grow this brand back. We've introduced some new lines, and we're going to continue to do that. But really to bring it back to what it was and to grow it further than that. And dovetailing that into the local made market side, partnering with these people and partnerships with people like you, it expands those networks. And, we'll do those collaborations and be co-branded or under one brand or another, but it's just a way to meet these people and to get the products out. Because if you look on any of the big sites, you'll see chairs similar to mine.
Yeah.
I'm selling them at the same price. These ones are made by hand and those ones are made overseas in some big factory.
Right.
So I want to be able to, the goal is to start more on the marketing and the branding side to get these things out into the world and find ways to share these things. My past experience, I'm very comfortable on the business side, the operations. I've got this under control, and when push comes to shove, I'll default to that side.
Sure.
But growing more into that world and growing both of these brands is really the next step. But sticking with our niche, with this joinery, with this style of chair, like that is who we are. And there's not a lot of people doing it. So I want to be able to share these in modern aesthetics, traditional aesthetics, cottage country, right?
I literally was just going to say that, because these chairs are not just for a certain aesthetic. They work in so many different ways, which I think is so important. And I think for so many people, when they say Windsor chairs, it automatically just takes you to this country sort of cottage.
That's what I did when I first learned about them.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be,
100%.
and it doesn't have to be. But you're well on your way, because you already said that sort of marketing aspect of it and getting those chairs out to more people and working with other designers and collaborating with them. You can transform that chair and make it work in any aesthetic. One last question. I am a big lover of candles, and I find that anytime I go into any room in my office, when I come home, I'm always lighting a candle. What is something that you do that sort of grounds you?
Ooh, grounding. Honestly, truly grounding. I'll just lay down in the back, like in the shop with the smells. We've got the pine going and all the wood and the sawdust and everything. When you're sitting there going through the 1,000 thoughts in your head, just sit in the back, like in the shop, take it, like this is the dream. This is what I'm doing, what I want to do. And I find that very therapeutic in some ways. I also love yoga. So yoga is also, it's an important part of the practice to keep me sane.
I love it. Sawdust and yoga.
There's a dichotomy somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Oh, I love that so much. TJ, thank you a million times over for being here and taking time to chat with me today. This was really incredible, and you have opened my eyes yet again, and I wish you nothing but the best, and I know there's so many amazing things coming your way.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much. This has been a lot of fun. We'll see you next time you're in Toronto.
100%. Yes.
More olives and Negronis.
More Negronis. Wow, TJ, thank you so much for sharing your story and your journey from going from corporate life to now being a fine furniture maker. I think that's absolutely amazing and so inspirational. If you want to follow TJ, be sure to follow him at Windsor_workshop or at Local Made MKT. And a huge thank you to Lux Windows for being a sponsor for this incredible episode. You can follow them at Lux Windows on Instagram and see all of their beautiful windows that they have available. And of course, as always, thank you so much for watching and for listening. And if you feel inspired, please be sure to like and subscribe. And of course, share with anyone that you think needs a little inspiration in their life, or a little Velji, because who doesn't? Thank you again, and until next time, mwah.